How much does it cost to climb Mount Kilimanjaro? The short approximate answer here is that the average climber will spend in total around $4,500 to $5,500 for their trek all included. However, it can vary from person to person, and what you ultimately spend depends on a few personal circumstances and choices. Let's take a closer look at how we arrive at this number and break down the different components of cost for your Mount Kilimanjaro trek. The first and most important thing to consider would be your climb operator, which is normally priced between $2,500 and $3,000 for a 7-day climb. This fee covers every element of your trek on the mountain, from the team of professional guides and porters, your food, meals, and drinking water, and all camp and safety equipment, not to mention the park permits, admin, and pre-climb support. Many operators will often include pre- or post-climb accommodation in Tanzania too. For example, here at Follow Alice, our clients often stay at Lindgren Lodge in Moshi, but it's always good to check with each operator whether this is included. As you may expect, not all climb operators charge the same. Some companies and itineraries are more expensive, while others less so. The price difference is down to 2 factors. Number 1 is the duration of the trek. The vast majority of routes offered on Kilimanjaro take between 5 and 10 days. As a rule of thumb, an additional day costs between $200 and $300, so the longer the trek, the higher the cost will be. The second thing to consider is the different types of climb operators. There are dozens to choose from on Mount Kilimanjaro, each offering their own level of professionalism, comfort, sustainability, and overall experience. Anything that's priced below $2,000 we would classify as a budget operator. Everything between $2,000 and $3,200 we would call mid-range or value-for-money operators. Anything above would be a luxury operator. Here at Follow Alice, we fall into the value-for-money category. We aim to provide the most professional, comprehensive service and uncompromising safety standards, but without unessential, cost-inflating expenditures. From a luxury operator, you can expect fancier before and after accommodation, and certain luxuries on the mountain, such as bottled water and portable showers. We recommend looking to see what these extras are to decide if they matter to you. For some, it's worth the money. We don't recommend choosing a budget operator because they're only able to offer such a fee, cutting back on costs like mountain crew salaries and training, safety and camping equipment, and the quality and quantity of food for both you and the mountain crew. To help navigate the ethics of climbing Kilimanjaro, we advise checking whether a Kilimanjaro tour operator is a KRTO-approved partner. Climb operators with accreditation from the Kilimanjaro Responsible Trekking Organization have passed high ethical and safety standards, so it can be a handy resource in informing you and guiding your decision. Next cost to consider is your flights. How much you spend is highly dependent on where you're flying from. But these days, most intercontinental flights to Tanzania are priced between $1,000 and $2,000 return. Major hubs in the Middle East often have the cheapest fares, followed by Europe, while the Americas and Australasia are the most expensive places to depart from. But you will never know an exact figure until you check. Airline pricing can be quite unpredictable and changeable, as we all know. And in terms of where to fly exactly, Mount Kilimanjaro is conveniently served by JRO, Mount Kilimanjaro International Airport. Be advised that ground travel from Dar es Salaam Airport and Zanzibar is limited and slow, and private transportation is expensive, so a flight into JRO International is likely your best bet. Moving on to cost number 3, your visa. Most countries pay $50, which gives you a 90-day single-entry travel visa to Tanzania. The exception is the United States, where you must pay $100. The reason for the difference is that visas from the US are valid for longer at 12 months and permit multiple entry. You have the choice of applying online before you travel or on arrival in the airport. By the way, for anybody seeking a more complete look and understanding of climbing Mount Kilimanjaro, we've dropped a link in the pinned comment to our Ultimate Mount Kilimanjaro PDF guide. It's completely free and offers a depth of detail and knowledge that we simply cannot cover in a short video. From physical preparation, critical safety advice, to a complete packing list. We've popped a link in the description for those of you interested. We hope it can help. 4. Travel medications and vaccines. For Tanzania, this includes travel vaccines, malaria medications, and altitude sickness medication. The best thing is to speak to your doctor or GP a few months in advance to understand what course of action is best for you. Expect to pay $200 or so for all your meds. 5. Hiking and rental gear. How much you spend here really depends on how much stuff you already own and whether you wish to rent some of your gear or buy it outright. Certain things you won't need to worry about. You will be provided with all your camping gear, which includes tents, toilets, tables, and chairs. Here at Follow Alice, we also provide you with a high-quality 4-season sleeping bag and a sleeping mat at no extra charge. However, most Kilimanjaro tour operators don't provide these, so don't assume they're inclusions unless stated, so best to check. Here at Follow Alice, you also have the option of renting a high-quality down jacket for $60 and collapsible trekking poles for $15, saving you luggage space and the need to buy your own. This leaves you needing to source your trekking clothing, hiking boots, backpack and duffel bag, and some miscellaneous bits and bobs like a head torch, water bottle, and the like. All in all, the average climber will spend around $300 renting and sourcing their gear. By average climber, we mean somebody that needs to buy a few key items but might have a few pieces lying around. Those starting from absolute scratch can expect to pay a little higher, and for you folk already well equipped, substantially less. 6. Travel insurance. While insurance is a somewhat unsexy topic, it is a crucial one when summiting a mountain. Be aware that regular travel insurance normally doesn't cover you for climbing Mount Kilimanjaro, so make sure that you find a policy that works up to 6,000 meters. Besides strong medical insurance that must include medical emergencies and evacuation, we also recommend choosing one that covers delayed, cancelled, or interrupted travel. Do note that travel insurance is not only important, but it's also mandatory when climbing Mount Kilimanjaro. You will be required to share your policy documentation with your climb operator before you trek. A comprehensive policy as described will set you back in the region of $200. 7. Spending money in Tanzania. You won't have to worry about spending while on the mountain itself. That said, on either side of your climb, you may wish to have some cash for the odd purchase like a souvenir, drink, or snack. How much you spend really depends on the person, but Tanzania is relatively cheap by most international standards, so most folk won't be spending much at all, especially considering that your meals will likely be included during your pre- and post-climb accommodation. $50 spending money will allow you to buy some snacks and refreshments, a celebratory beer or 3, and a snazzy souvenir. In terms of how to manage cash, note that you can't obtain Tanzanian shillings outside the country. US dollars and euros are accepted everywhere in Tanzania and generally preferred. Just ensure that the notes are post-2013 and in good condition, or they won't be taken. Otherwise, you can use a Visa or MasterCard to draw cash from an ATM. ATMs are readily available throughout the country. Last but not least, tipping. Tipping your mountain crew is a universal custom on Mount Kilimanjaro. It is not compulsory, but it has a long-standing history and tradition on the mountain and supplements the working wages of the team. So we urge you to abide by this custom. The crew work admirably to ensure that you are having the adventure of a lifetime, and for many climbers, the bonds developed with their mountain crew become a standout highlight of their trip. Tips are pooled and shared amongst the crew at the end of your trek during a ceremony accompanied by song and dance. It is a lot of fun and a touching farewell to the team. In terms of how much to tip, this depends on the size of your group and the duration of your trek. As a rule of thumb, you tip a lesser amount the more people in your climb group and the fewer days on the mountain. For the average climber, this will be in the ballpark of $250 to $400. For more information and accuracy, we have popped a link in the description to our Kilimanjaro tipping blog post for anybody interested. A final remark here. When deliberating tipping on Mount Kilimanjaro, it's important to remember just how complex an operation this all is, and the large size of the mountain team in support. Climbing to such an inhospitable altitude in near-perfect barren wilderness requires a very serious amount of supplies, which in turn requires a very large team of porters, guides, and cooks. In fact, for every single climber, you can expect 5 crew in support, so your tip will be spread amongst many. So that's a wrap. Are you aware that Follow Alice organizes treks to Mount Kilimanjaro? Every year we take hundreds of happy trekkers to Uhuru Peak and back, and we're extremely proud of the wonderful feedback we continue to receive. If you're up for the adventure, feel free to check out our website link in the description to take a peek at our departure dates and itineraries. And if you like, our friendly team are always on hand to discuss and offer their advice and expertise for a trip. We're here to help. If you like this video, please hit that thumbs up button and subscribe for more content like this one. Thanks very much and safe travels, everyone.